Hey, we're gonna let you. Oh, can't let you finish that. Hey.
I'm gonna finish while we're on. Trust me, I'm gonna finish while we're on.
Okay. All right. So professional. So professional. Hi, everybody. It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and welcome to the birthday girl. The birthday celebration continues.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Hey, Myra J.
Yeah.
Looking like the birthday girl. You got that glow and everything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. As opposed to just calling me greasy. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sybil.
So not greasy.
Thank you so much.
And Stephen Hill, bon vivant of
Hey.
the world. How are
Yeah.
you?
You know what? I'm once again living the proverbial dream, living everybody's dream, living having a great time. I'm in New York, hanging out with the faithful ward this week, and I could not be happier to be in that situation here doing that. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
What? Shopping? What?
Birthday?
No, hanging out with
just the Jaden time.
Hanging out with faithful ward. Come on.
Okay, that's
I
cool.
live for this.
That's cool. And do you all have plans? Are you doing anything special? Is he on spring break?
No. Spring break is going to be going to colleges. That's what we're looking at now. Because I know in the next hour while we're on, what he'll be doing is finding out how to get into a certain college that he wants to go to very, very badly, and that is music based. And I am wholly and wonderfully supportive. Where I wasn't earlier today because I had a misunderstanding, but that's another story.
You and the faithful ward had a misunderstanding?
No, see, I thought so. He is a brilliant. His music acumen is off the charts, and then his work ethic is going to meet that. And I think he's found a program where that can happen at the same time. And so very, very excited. And I thought he had to be at a certain place before he got there, but I was wrong. And so it can happen while he's there. So
awesome. Okay.
Also teaching him to admit when you're wrong. Not a bad thing.
Is this something you learned early on in your life or just in your current relationship?
Early on. No, early on. No, early. No, early on. No. Actually, if you want to, early on, I realized it was not going to be terminal if I'm wrong. Right. I was also really confident that I was more right than I was wrong. So the times I was wrong was not going to define me. So, but I have no problem saying like, oh, you know what? And you know what the funny thing is? If you do that in a relationship, if you're arguing and all of a sudden you hear a point that's right, and I'll go, oh, you know what? You're right and I'm wrong. Then she gets upset. Well, wait a minute. Whoa. Are you not listening to me? Are you trying to placate me now? Are you trying to placate? I'm like, no, I listened. I considered it. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I am wrong about that.
You know, in the early years,
I still want to argue though.
Right. Yeah. And you do kind of take the wind out of the whole thing by doing that. Yeah. I saw you do that with the man whose name is in the jingle once and during a meeting. And it was like, wow. Okay. And then happening? It was like, right. He was like, well, where do we go from here?
What is happening?
Yeah.
The earth is off its axis.
Right. Exactly.
If more people in this world just were like, okay, I'm listening with an open mind and like, I could be wrong on this. Yeah. You'd avoid so much challenge and consternation.
Yeah.
You can't be right all the time.
And speaking of which, how is the Mrs.?
My mama or fiance?
The fiance. We'll talk about your mama later.
She's awesome. She had 4 shows in Atlanta this past weekend, and unfortunately, because I was making my own check in Vegas with the Academy of Country Music Awards. But she was in Atlanta and had 4 amazing shows. A lot of it you can see online. I put something in my Instagram stories today because her whistle tone is crazy. Her ability to hit those high notes is crazy, and she does it even better when she's on stage.
Wow. And do little animals come scurrying?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Especially the Stephen. Yes.
Yes. So she's spectacular, and she's headed back to LA right now.
Awesome. Well, you couldn't have a better place to have a great concert than Atlanta. So I'm just saying.
That is the truth.
Absolutely. Been nice if Myra had gotten some tickets for her birthday, but okay.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say nothing, Sybil, but thanks for throwing that in there for me.
You're right, Myra.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and some of
You
this-
are. By the way, you are 100% right.
See?
And it didn't even have to be your birthday. I just didn't make the connection. That is completely my bad. I don't think of you as Atlanta. I never think of you as Atlanta. That's my bad. That's on me.
Because she's a
Think of
woman
it
of
just
the
like a-
world.
No, because
Or floating around in
I,
the air somewhere.
I still associate with you with Dallas because that's where like when I was a joiner, I saw almost everything with joiner in Dallas. That's my bad. I am not making an excuse. I'm
But
not making an
you
excuse.
know what's funny is that I've never lived in Dallas.
I believe that. I know, but
Yeah,
it's a joiner thing.
Gotcha.
Just that
Gotcha.
joiner connection.
That's me. That's me.
One more thing I should mention before we scurry on. Young Kwyn is doing the professional thing. Kwyn Townsend Riley and is not able to join us today, so we will sally forth. But keep doing your thing, Young Kwyn. We're proud of you. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the world. This is going to be in the in our topical tonight. This top story is going to be our story in the newsletter tomorrow, but I don't think we could get through this afternoon without talking about the false arrest of Black Panther director Ryan Coogler by the Atlanta Police Department. This happened in January. The story is just coming out, and Ryan Coogler relaying the story how he went to withdraw some money from a local Bank of America branch. He wrote a discreet note asking for the bank teller for discretion because he was asking for a certain amount of money. It was like $12,000, but he asked her to have the money counter in a different place because you know how sometimes when you go, they'll do the money right there in front of you. And so he asked it, you take it off to the side. And whatever she saw, she said it was the amount and the note, and it prompted her to tell her boss, the bank manager, that this guy was trying to rob them.
Yeah.
Police were alerted. They came. His friends who were waiting outside for him in the getaway car, they got stopped by police. They were put in a patrol car. They went in, they handcuffed him, and then they realized the mistake. But by that time, he had been handcuffed, taken outside. They cleared up the mistake, and they apologized. But he was pretty hot. He asked for the badge numbers of the police. And and he has had his words with Bank of America too. He said, to his satisfaction. But even today, wearing a mask, this was in January, as I said, so he was trying to be proactive regarding that, wearing a hat, sunglasses, and the mask, and a Black man.
Yeah.
And
the bank teller was Black.
she was a Black
Yes.
pregnant woman.
Bank teller was Black. But this was my question. Before she got all beside herself, did she look to see? I'm sure he was withdrawing money from an account.
Yes. Well, here's the other. This is what I failed to mention. He gave her his bank card and his ID.
Was she?
Wait, before she called the police?
I'm sorry?
Before she called the cops, she gave
No, apparently when he gave her the note asking for her discretion, he gave her his bank card as well as his identification. His government issued identification.
She goes to her manager and said, I think that he's trying to rob the bank. And so they notify the police. Now to me, I'm like, at what point did someone actually go to this account and see that there was the money there and then still said, we need to call the police?
Yeah. And you're right, Myra. It doesn't matter. You say Ryan Coogler, I don't know him from Adam, but the numbers, it matches up. Why did he give a note? He gave a note because he, as I said, he was asking for her discretion to please count I'm requesting this amount to be withdrawn from my account. Please, would you just have the money counted off to the side?
Right.
Not trying to draw attention.
Right, which people do because trust me, I ain't about to take out $12,000, but it's been times, let's say I want $600 and they're standing there going, 100, 200, 300. I'm like, can the people outside hear you counting the money? So so he's asking for discretion, discreetly count this money and then give it to me so that the person behind me doesn't know I'm getting ready to walk out of here with $12,000 cash.
Steve, what are you saying? Because I'll read the note to you precisely as it was written. He said, "I'd like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my checking account. Please do the money counter somewhere else. I'd like to be discreet."
So it was another teller that told that, and there's another teller, not the teller he handed the note to, but another teller saw the other teller and then told the police.
That's I heard two stories. One that she went directly to the manager, and another that someone else was involved.
Right, but I'm just going to say it wasn't the teller that he handed the note to that did this. It was another teller who saw the transaction and thought it was fishy. Correct?
No, before they even did the transaction, she saw the note. The young woman saw the note. She tried to put it in, and whatever the amount was set off some sort of alarm, and not the but some sort of internal alarm, I guess.
Right.
And she took the note and showed this to the manager. I don't know about like I said, there were two different stories on two different sides, and who in the steps.
Well, I believe that tellers cannot just give you, $12,000. You have to go to someone to like a supervisor when it's a very large amount of money. So I can see her going to someone else to say, I need authorization to give this $12,000.
That's
but
right.
Yeah, but man.
And why didn't he verbally ask for it? Ask Tia on YouTube.
Because they didn't get it robbed. Look, I had my car broken into 30 years ago, and I still am very nervous about where I park my car to this day, right? So if at any point in time, Ryan Coogler, who grew up in Oakland and in rough snares, I know nothing about his life except he's one of the most wonderful people to listen to talk ever in the history of ever. I love Ryan Coogler's perspective, point of view, and the way he talks. That said, he grew up in Oakland where he may have gone through something, where he had money taken from him. So you do things to minimize that ever happening again.
Right.
And one of them may instead of saying like, I'm taking a large amount of money out, can you count it somewhere else?
Right.
is you feel more comfortable giving that a note or putting on a withdrawal slip, never thinking that like, I'm not going to rob a bank, so I'm not thinking. So he's not thinking
right.
about that.
But it's not unusual though. It's not unusual for people to hand notes when it's a large amount of money. I have heard of this before. When it's a large, because you don't want to verbalize it because you never know who else is listening. So It's written on a piece of paper. That's why. And if you have an account there and you show your ID and your bank card, I don't know what else was he supposed to do.
Well, that's why I'm confused. If it was the teller that he was going to that called the police, I understand if the teller to the right sees someone being handed a note, then that teller goes over and counts up a bunch of cash at the corner, comes back. I got to ask a question about that. I understand that. That makes total sense. Now, it feels like there should be a couple of steps before you go to the police. Like, Myra, you're right. Anything over, I think it's $8,000 or $9,000 has to be
10, I believe it's
right?
10.
Right. So you go to the manager or somehow go to make sure. But I understand how the teller next door seeing this action might at least have questions. Right. That's just protecting somebody on the job, white, black, whatever. If I see somebody handing a note and then somebody goes over and counts money in the corner, and it's not a usual banking practice. At least ask the question. But your first, second, and probably not the third calls to the cops. You gotta check something else before that. It is a bank where people come and get money.
Yeah.
and the police come in and they handcuff him. That's why I'm like, and where did the handcuffs come in? Because there was no need. This man hasn't threatened anyone. There's no threatening note. No one has been threatened, and they came in and they handcuffed him.
Members of the Atlanta Police Department.
Yeah.
And Steve, you worked in a bank, did you not?
I was not in the teller side. I was in the corporate
Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I was like,
I didn't. I wasn't a teller.
no.
I was a corporate
I went over there with the coins.
No. My
I tell people how to spend their coins, not
my
the ones
banking
that have
experience is not germane to this point. That was the
Oh,
only.
okay.
No, I was just wondering if you were, perhaps in school or something, had worked as a teller. Sorry,
No.
but no, you went straight to corporate
Can't
finance.
You can't trust me. Can't trust me around cash. You can't trust me around cash. To this day. You can't.
Well, there's still, for us, there's still questions that need to be answered. Apparently, Ryan Coogler, the award-winning director of Black Panther, in Atlanta to film the sequel to this movie, and and apparently he has been answered to his satisfaction. But it does bear in mind, and I hope that people bear this in mind, that still, no matter how many, as I said in the story for tomorrow, no matter how many zeros and commas you have on your bank statement, it's still a Black man or a Black woman who people will not necessarily give you the benefit of the doubt. And immediately, and for, I don't know what this woman had gone through that day. They made a note of saying she was a pregnant Black woman. So maybe she was having, pregnancy brain or what. I don't know.
That's because she don't want y'all to think it's racial. That's why they tell you that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they want you to believe hormones
Well,
are on
with
full
the pregnant
tilt.
part, I was like,
hormones on full tilt.
Yeah,
Hormones on full tilt, and it's not a racial thing.
Yeah.
That was the messaging. That's the messaging.
That is, and it was received. It was received. But
yes, well, he said that they've met. Mr. Coogler and B of A have met, and he said he was satisfied with the response, and now he has moved on.
And now
we're just getting the information.
$12,000 of reparations in his account.
I was just about to say. I said, so in the middle of Black Panther 2, will we see like a B of A ATM machine?
Okay.
Like how much
just
money
just flying out of there?
How much money are they putting behind the film now?
Usually when establishments usually when establishments air a customer gets a little bit of the free merchandise. So maybe that happened in this case.
Some samples, if you will.
Some samples, if you will.
Yeah, some samples of some dead presidents, I hope.
Yep, that's it.
All right. So that is the first thing we're talking about. And secondly, just with a couple of minutes we have left, that situation in Ukraine continues. And the vice president has now gone off to do some diplomacy talks with the people in Poland. And gone to Eastern Europe to talk in the midst of the Russian assault on Ukraine. Poland, which the vice president was set to be her first visit, along with Romania, has added wrinkle to her travel plans. The day before she departed, the Polish Foreign Ministry proposed a plan to help supply MiG-29 fighter jets to Ukraine by moving its Soviet-era fleet to the United States Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Apparently, this surprised American officials, which helped support Ukraine's fight, but it risked heightening the role, according to American officials, of the U.S. and NATO allies in the conflict if the planes are sent to Ukraine. So no matter how the planes got there, just knowing that they were coming from the United States, from Poland into Ukraine, is a problem for the Americans. And so they're trying to stay away from, boots on the ground in Ukraine. They're trying to stay away from airspace and that whole discussion in fear of and concern for World War III.
Mm-hmm.
Putin is moving that line, y'all. Y'all used to that whole boots on the ground, and that's how you determine what's a war. Putin has said, "Hey, just so you know, sanctions are war to me."
Right.
Putin is intentionally moving the line. Putin wants to do. I believe, I could be wrong. Putin wants to start this war. Like he wants to get up all up in it. Sanctions are sanctions are war, let alone planes, even if they are not American planes, but they come from an American base, so we're planes. And don't even talk to me about a no-fly zone. We about to get in that ass on a no-fly zone.
Where are we going with that? We're about to get up in the what? All right. So, and one more thing, just RIP. This is to the man who was a guinea pig, if you will, but definitely a pioneer in the area of heart transplants. The man who received a pig heart died as after 2 months of having the pig heart implanted into his chest cavity. He passed away at the 54 years old at the University of Maryland Hospital. And so this groundbreaking experiment, he definitely is adding to the whole medical experiment, but also helping people perhaps in the future. So, all right, let's move to the question of the day. What's really going on? And this is thanks to Myra J. Because we try to have a little bit of a lighter question, just because we have all of these heavy topics that we are talking about. So Myra, the birthday girl, making the suggestion, what's the biggest lie your parents ever told you? Now, we know what a lot of people can say, but let's not talk about the obvious, like your
DNA,
parentage.
right?
Like what?
DNA, like
Daddy ain't the daddy,
right?
Can we take Santa Claus out of it too?
You want to?
Yeah, because I don't want a whole bunch of Santa Clauses. Like we take Santa Claus out, Easter Bunny out, Tooth Fairy out.
Okay.
Like all the ones that are everybody's gonna say like, oh man, I was crushed. Maybe it's just me who was crushed the day they found out.
No, my mother.
Week.
I could be saying a little bit too much right now.
My mother had to tell me, look,
You're 21, Sybil.
you're 26 years old. You need to stop and waking up going, what did Santa? She's like, over here. So, Myra, do you have an idea of what the biggest lie your parents ever told you?
Well, my mother really had a thing about don't drink coffee because it'll make you black.
And your mother was as fair-skinned as you are.
And my mother drank that straight Maxwell House out the you put 9 things of Maxwell House and a teaspoon of water and stir. That's all she wanted. Period. And the thing was, I used to sneak and drink coffee and wait for something to happen.
I'm willing to take my chances.
Right. Okay. I can stand a little more of this, and
melanin.
And I'm like,
you kind of hoping it would happen. You were hoping it would happen.
Yeah. And so lie, just a lie. I don't know why do our parents do that?
I wonder where that. First of all, she was not the first person to do that. That's why my Aunt Koza used to pour so much milk in my coffee. You don't want to get too caught up in this coffee drinking stuff like your mama. So I'm just gonna pour like a half a cow into your coffee and a teaspoon of coffee that I'm giving you, and so because you don't want to mess with your color.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Where did that come from, Stephen Hill?
I don't know. It feels self-hatred somehow. Some kind of self-hatred.
It is.
Yeah.
Hatred is.
It
It's
is.
a bad thing.
But between that and her, she never really wanted to tell me what mountain oysters were.
Oh.
And just eat it. It's like a fruit, And I had to call my grandmother because I was very, very suspect. It was a lot.
And your grandmother knew what mountain oysters were?
Oh, absolutely. She said, "Oh, girl, just go ahead and eat that. That's just some hog balls."
I'm sorry. What? Wait. Did I just learn something? Hold on. Did I just learn something? Wait, what? Wait, what?
Do you know what mountain oysters are, Stephen?
I do not. Not even a little bit.
Yes, they are.
From the hog. From the male hog.
Yes. What makes him the male?
No.
Yes.
Get out.
Yes.
And that's a delicacy, or that's something we look for?
They are called mountain oysters. You can even in some stores, yes, you will see them in the jar, mountain oysters. But that's what they are. But my mama didn't tell me that.
And that gives whole new meaning to from the rooter to the tutor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What to do with that one?
Well, certainly not eat it.
I'm looking at the comments. There's several people who said they didn't know what mountain oyster. Does anybody else know what mountain oyster?
No, and a few who were like, Stephen, I can't believe you didn't know. I'm like, yeah, no idea. No.
That's right.
That's right,
yep,
Brenda.
Yep,
Brenda.
That's right, Brenda. Mm-hmm.
PGH
Brenda
girl.
Ray, yes.
Yes, Brenda Ray, pig girl. Wait, that's what it says.
It's a lot.
PGH girl.
Yeah. She
wow.
says they're hog testicles. Just say what it is.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what I said. Hog balls.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I said that initially. Yeah.
Steve, do you have any lies? Okay, Kwyn Turner says my grandma fried some of those up, and they were the best thing I ever tasted. She says that on YouTube. Kwyn Turner
That's right.
does.
And then when I asked, and then I asked my brother how he liked them. He said, "I love them too."
And let's not even get started with oxtails. Michelle Ben Summerall, you right on Facebook says, "Ew." I'm with you. Yeah. So Myra, what was the taste?
Oh, I didn't. Oh no.
Oh, you never did?
No.
Even after your grandma said, go.
Once she said, "Oh, girl, that's fine. Just go ahead," and then she said, but she said it with so much glee at first, like, "Oh, she got some for you. Yes, honey, go ahead and eat that." And then she told me what it was.
I don't know why I think of them as.
Okay,
oh my God. Okay, Pinky.
Oh my gosh. All right, come on.
Pinky on Facebook. She says we eat the cow's penis.
Now, hold on.
Does a cow have a penis?
I want to be anatomically correct here. I don't believe that's the case. I believe a cow is actually the female of the species.
Right. So
if I'm not mistaken.
So that's bull.
Ding, 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 ding.
So unless that cow is from some state other than Texas, given Texas new rules around Texas Children's Hospital.
Around the
See what I did there? See what I did there? See what I did there? It would not be the cow's penis. Anyhow.
Wow. Okay. Steve, did you ever find that they told you a lie that you eventually learned was?
Oh my God, what I want to say is just so bad.
Say it.
Well, no, I always get the.
Yeah. You're going to get in trouble either way. Okay. So you may as well say it.
We're not asking you to tell any secrets about, your woman and you. We're just, just lies that, that actually things that parents don't even consider lies.
Well, they never told me that.
I can tell this is going to be really bad.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to hear it.
I just never understood why there was a little bit of ice cream at the end of my hot dogs all the time. But anyhow, my point being, no, there was never any, definitely, no. That's right up Sybil's alley, wasn't it? I guess it is the cow penis, isn't it? Tell me the hot dogs came from cows. Listen, I'm doubling down.
Yes, see.
No, I can't think of any good lie that my parents told me, except when they told me they loved me once. No, I got to tell you, I did none of that. Nothing to make me eat anything, nothing to make me go anywhere. Pretty straightforward.
My grandmother tried to tell me that liver tasted just like chocolate. I could look at the liver, I could smell it, and I could tell, old lady, you don't like me very much. If you're trying to tell, and it's good for you.
Just like chocolate.
And I love chocolate, and she knew that, and she was really trying to make me never eat chocolate again. And so my dad's like, I don't know, little girl. I don't mean any disrespect to your mama's mama, but it's not chocolate. It's like because my parents just didn't, they didn't tell me stuff like that. But no, and I don't think I ever forgave my grandmother for that. Joylyn Wright on Facebook said, my grandmama made me take 2 tablespoons of the medicine 666 straight. I learned years later it is supposed to be diluted in water. Wow, because that had to have knocked you out for the night, right, Myra?
And yes, I wonder she didn't lose her spleen. I was gonna say, have you all noticed?
Hang on one second. Hang on. Manuel Murphy says 666. Hell, that would cure COVID-19. Why didn't we think of that 2.5, 3 years ago?
I tried to tell you that you mistook me for what I really said was 666 would cure COVID.
Has anyone read the label on the Vicks Vapor Rub, and it says "Do not ingest"? How many of us, our parents and grandparents, they would take a little dab of that Vicks, right down the throat, and I went, they were trying to kill us. Yeah. They were trying to kill us, but it says right on there, "Do not ingest."
Right.
This has turned from the lies your parents told you to things some parents have done to try to kill you. For example, Shirley Ann Tony Davis proudly says, I mixed squirrel with chicken and fed it to my kids. Okay, they loved it. Right.
I got it.
First of all, I know where you got the chicken from. How'd you catch the squirrel? That's number one. Was it pre-designed? Or you're like, oh, there's not enough chicken for everybody. Let me go out and see if Rocky's in the backyard. What's the thing you went through to catch the squirrel? And why did you think squirrel meat? Prince references that in a song. Maybe it'll sound good on a plate.
Maybe it'll taste as good as it sounds.
All right. Anybody get the Prince reference for squirrel meat? Anybody?
Very nice, Stephen Hill. Myra J?
No. I didn't get it.
If your body keeps dancing, if your body gets tired, keeps dancing, because you ought to keep the blood flowing down to your feet. Brother Maurice will be around in a minute with a bucket filled in it. Squirrel meat.
Squirrel meat.
The blood's real good if you drink it real fast, but the aftertaste just lasts and lasts. Anyhow, if you kiss somebody, you want to party all night. Super sexy. All right, I'm stopped now.
Why stop now? Unless you want to slow down and catch a squirrel with that.
Well, first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire.
Okay. So, squirrel meat and chicken.
On purpose.
Yeah, for real though.
Yo, it's just about bad parenting. Jacqueline from YouTube says, my mom gave me a Fina method chewing gum laxative. I had no idea until things started happening.
Jacqueline on YouTube, I am so sorry.
That'll keep your butt in the house.
that'll make her have her running.
That'll stop.
I told you to come in this house the first time and you wouldn't come. I bet you'll come next time, won't you? Yeah, because if you don't time that phenomenon right, that was woof. Wow. Do they still make that, Myra?
I don't know.
I think that may have gone the same trajectory as AIDS, the diet regulating chocolate.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
You remember that?
AIDS, the diet regulating chocolate came out right about the early 80s. Wow. Sharing a name with something else you probably
talk about bad timing.
That did not work out.
Timing was not, and the same thing for people named ISIS. Sorry.
Yes, that's right.
So,
Almighty ISIS. No. Can't say that now. Mm-hmm. Well, Saturday morning cartoon. Shazam. ISIS. Almighty ISIS. No. Can't say that.
No, sorry. Although I would like to wish a happy 15th birthday to Isis Curley. That's what made me think of it. Happy birthday, Isis.
Happy birthday, Isis.
Yeah. Happy merry birthday. All right. So
now that we know all the disgusting things that our parents and grandparents did to us, I've seen some things in this comment, and all I want to say is, I'm sorry I brought it up, y'all, because some of
we had so many parameters, Myra. It's like, can't be your daddy ain't your daddy. It can't be about, the mythical holiday characters. It can, and so like, okay, let's just go for the bad food.
Somebody say their pet duck came up missing, and
but what we did not rule out the lie of, well, that is your daddy. We didn't rule that one out. Anybody was welcome to go with that, and nobody did. So.
That's very true. Let's move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter, giving folks the absolute African-American centered news, and want to do just a small plug for us. Please subscribe to it. It's absolutely free. And you can go to SybilWilkes.com and it will be in your email address, your email box rather, Monday through Friday morning, first thing. Young Kwyn Townsend Riley, who is off doing her professional thing, is the author of an article. She contributed this about Children's Hospital following Texas governor's anti-trans order. This had to do with the Texas Children's Hospital, the nation's largest pediatric hospital, said it will stop giving gender-affirming care to transgender youth. This decision came after the enlightened Texas Governor Greg Abbott vowed to investigate the transition-related care as child abuse. The mission of Texas Children's Hospital is to create a healthier future for all children, including transgender children, within the bounds of the law, according to the hospital. This step was taken to safeguard our healthcare professionals and impacted families from potential criminal legal ramifications. So they are looking at this as a way for them to stay out of legal trouble, because the Attorney General of Texas will sue in a minute. And if he finds anything that is not within their conservative bounds of the law, they will definitely sue. And so the hospital is trying to stop that. But there are some people within the state of Texas who are moving forward. And as a matter of fact, the city of Austin has officially recognized March 9th as Transgender Youth and Family Safety Day.
Okay.
Very cool, right? Mm-hmm. Mayor Stephen Adler read a proclamation declaring it so during an event with several other local leaders who aim to show local support for families with transgender children and the LGBTQ community, and declaring the city of Austin as a sanctuary city for transgender families.
Spectacular.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is new to a lot of us, and I think of myself as pretty liberal, but I also am I really want to understand transgender and the freedom that it's giving, especially certain youth, to express who they are, right? And so, I know if I'm having trouble with it as a pretty real liberal person, conservatives are like losing their minds because, number one, they're always right without consideration of facts. Right? So this is one of those things where I look at it and go like, it's like this now. 10 years from now, it'll be different, but it's going to take this kind of movement and pushing and to get people to see like this is an evolution in the way the humans regard themselves. Does that make any sense?
This is in a state where a lot of these things that are of the modern age taking this state and other states. You can look at Florida and the Don't Say Gay bill. You can look at this directive signed by Greg Abbott to the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services to look into reported instances of children receiving gender transitioning health services. You could look at any of these other things that and here's the thing, Stephen, you may not understand it, but you are open to understanding it. These laws, these parameters that they have created and sanctioning against this are looked upon by people who don't understand it and don't want to.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. What are they offering as an option if there is a youth that it considers themselves transgender and have a medical need, that they're in the hospital,
Nope.
what?
Well, and so
There's
and because when I saw that today, and I was focused on the word care. So does care means, because they're trying to regulate care, does care mean someone who's already started some kind of medical procedure and the care for that, or does it prevent them from starting any type of medical procedure? I think there's there's differences between the two. So I'd be interested to know especially what Texas is talking about, whether it's we're not going to change you from the gender you were assigned at birth.
And that's my interpretation of it, Stephen, because it says looking into reported instances of children receiving gender transitioning health services. So whatever the medication is for hormones and things like that, as it relates to children transitioning, they want to stay away from this completely.
Look, it's a tough one. And again, being pretty open, I also know that before that frontal cortex closes, there's a lot of things about yourself, their selves, that people don't know. So the way you feel about yourself at 12 may not be, from 0 to 12, you have a certain set of activity that's gone on, right? And you make a decision at 12, 13, 14, that's going to affect the way you are for the rest of your life. And you may not feel that way at 25 when things are pretty much set in your brain. Like I'm not, I gotta admit, I'm not automatically, when I saw that Kwyn wasn't here tonight, I was like, oh, I want to have this conversation with someone because I know her perspective is very, very different or much more, I should say much more formed than mine is. So I respect her point of view. But it's tough for me to say, like, if you're 14 years old and you want to do this radical thing that's going to affect you for the entirety of your life, and saying like, yeah, that's okay. That's as opposed to working with someone or working with them until, if you can't vote until you're 18, right? There's certain things you can't drink until you're 21 because it affects your physiology. So I kind of understand why people are like, maybe at 25, banning it all together was one thing, but maybe wait until like you're 21, 25 when that
closes up and is formed.
And it makes you, unless you have more ideas than you have now.
And that is a question that is often asked of parents, Myra. I know that we had interviews on the Joyner Show of parents who were encouraging their children and standing by their children when they determined at the age of 5 that as a little boy they didn't want to be that anymore. They wanted to be a little girl, and I think you're right, Steve. I think that there is a lot of consideration to. It's a little early to be making that decision. I will stand by you as you go through this process, but the whole changing of one's, it's one thing for the mental, but the physical is a completely different matter. And it opens up so much conversation, but it's not a conversation these people in our state capitals are willing to have.
I shout out all whenever I possibly can. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union Wade, who Dwayne's biological son, biological child who was assigned male at birth, is identifying as female, and they have supported her and used her pronouns the way she wants them and dress and everything else. And I think that's awesome support. That's the support I know. And again, I've informed, my frontal cortex on this as it closed, but that feels like the right thing to do until you're a certain age. And if you're at 21 or 25, the decision is to, okay, I want to like to take this a moment further. Feels like that's the way to go. But at a certain age, at 14, 15, let Zara be Zara, and I just love the way that Gab and Dwayne.
They are doing it the right way, and they have taken,
being-
they've consulted people, they have and done the best that they possibly can for this child, and I think the abuse that they have taken from their peers and from others is horrific, but they stand strong with that child, and that's what I'm talking about. As she now makes her way to adulthood, or as she goes through puberty and what have you, until she can stand and make that decision on her own. It's a tough road to go.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now that said, so get back to Texas. That said, so I get why they might not want to start something, but if someone is already, if somebody is already in that process and they're denying care to someone who's already in that process, that's some bullshit. That's some bull. That's some bull, because you're just denying someone actual medical procedures because of your beliefs, as opposed to what their needs happen to be if you're already in the process.
Yeah, the needs go out the window. What were you saying, Myra?
If this is a children's hospital, these young people did not come in off the street. There has to be some parental consent here. Okay, so whether you agree with it or not, there has to be parental consent. So
Right. There's a lawsuit filed by the parents of a 16-year-old transgender girl. In the lawsuit that claims the state is already looking into them for abuse, and one of the parents worked for the Department of Family and Children's Services.
Wow.
Yeah. So let us. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I love sports, and I've been away from football a little bit, Stephen Hill, but I need to talk to you about, because now the word is coming out that Russell Wilson was previously traded to Denver for like a bushel load of draft picks and a couple of people, players already in the game. And now the word is just coming down that he will be returning to Seattle. It's just kind of like, it's a crazy situation.
Say what? I'm not aware of this. Hold on.
Yeah. So previously, like a day ago, this was this blockbuster trade between Seattle and sending Russell Wilson to Denver. And now the word is coming out that he will be, the breaking news, he'll be returning to Seattle. Just when Sierra was getting like her furs and stuff together, and she was, trying to get her head right about the snow bunny wear and everything. And now this is it. There's so much going on in sports. Like one NFL player, the Atlanta Falcons, Myra, has been suspended for a full year for betting. And so the NFL has suspended him from playing, and he gets on Twitter and says, "I bet you $1,500 this won't happen."
They did say the games he betted on, he wasn't playing.
Right? Yeah.
Which doesn't make it right, but I'm just putting that out there.
Right, absolutely.
Wait, hold on. I got to go back. I'm sorry. Where does it say that the trade got called off?
I just got it across one of my news wires. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
The trade was called off. What did they find out? What you just want to go? What happened?
Right? Yeah. What they do that for? Oh shoot! I lost it.
Okay, we'll come back, because
we'll come back. We'll circle back.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
see those question marks in my name? That's because I don't know what the heck's going on right now. Whenever I got question marks, I've been too busy to do like big ass award show or something. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Let me see, Russell.
You find it?
So I'm looking for.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. I know we're live, Yolanda. I know. Steve, I do want to.
That's what happens when it's live, Yolanda. That's what happens.
I do want to talk about two things. First of all, Black and Missing every week in our newsletter. And thanks to the people at the Black and Missing Foundation for doing their due diligence to put out the information about the folks that we are looking for. Today, they are looking, the family and friends of Alexis D. Ware are looking for her. She's been missing since January 30th from Anderson, South Carolina. They found her in one part of the state. They found her car in another part of the state. Please go to the What You Need to Know newsletter. You can see a picture of her. And if you have any information, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation. We'd appreciate that. And one more thing quickly, Steve, I just want to commend you on the wonderful letter. We have been seeking stories about our everyday sheroes amongst us. And Stephen Hill wrote a wonderful letter, which was in an earlier issue, about his mom, Mrs. Wanda C. Hill, and her Project Match, in which she has changed the lives of generations by putting students from the DMV with 80 college prep boarding schools,
something like
and
that, yeah.
almost 500 kids' lives affected. And as Stephen said, generations now affected by all of this. So good on you, and very nice story.
She is all of the awesome.
Kind of awesome, he said. And I absolutely love that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us now move to entertainment. And this is another story that has just come out and just hit the wires. And with great dismay, finding out that Nick Cannon's talk show has been canceled.
Okay. I don't know what's worse. His talk show being canceled or him having another child. So that's unfortunate. Unfortunate.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's 6 months in, and his talk show has been canceled, according to Page Six. They say the staff at the syndicated show have yet to be informed. But many of them are already looking for new jobs because the outlook seemed bleak for the struggling show. He obviously he filled in for Wendy Williams, and that impressed a lot of folks, the producers, and booking him for the show. And he went on to grab this deal for a syndicated talk show. And
that's a tough market, though. To be honest, it's very tough. It's very tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
As somebody pointed out, I don't know if that's the actual spot, but Jennifer Hudson has a talk show coming out.
She has a talk show coming out, and Sherry Shepard has a talk show. Our friend Sherry Shepard.
Yes.
Well, Sherry's taking that. Well, Sherry is somewhat taking the Wendy spot.
Right. Yeah. She's the permanent guest host, and will start in the fall with her show, as will Jennifer Hudson. And I believe that I don't know what the timing is for either one of those shows. But
does anybody remember the Ellen Cleghorn show? Ellen Cleghorn.
Yes.
Ellen Cleghorn was the person on Saturday Night Live, one of the first Black women on Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. She had a show by herself afterwards, and it's the first place I ever saw Sherry Shepard. Sherry Shepard played Ellen Cleghorn's younger sister, and to this day I say this whenever I'm around Sherry Shepard. She takes modeling classes like mail away modeling classes. To be a supermodel. And so the thing throughout the whole episode is she has to be introduced as like, here's my younger sister, the supermodel. It's just the fight this line. And so it's just funny to see Sherry Shepard smiling. He goes, here's my sister, the supermodel. Congratulations to the supermodel Sherry Shepard.
Quick story, which ties all this together. I was the warm-up person on the Ellen Cleghorn show, and right at Christmas time, which is usually mid-season. Right at Christmas time, it's the Christmas show, and after we tape, here's a Christmas party, and they got the DJ, and they're serving up the little punch and we see the crew is moving stuff around. We're like, oh, they must be changing the set. They're tearing the stuff. We found out at the Christmas party that the show was canceled. The Ellen Cleghorn show. Yes.
Myra.
No. I said the wrong word. It's not canceled. And I'm surprised they said that about Nick Cannon, because usually the term is going into hiatus.
Well, this is. I guess this is. They said cancel. Yeah.
They
but
told
you're
us
right.
it was going to hiatus.
It's just like saying, Pawpaw's not dead. He's just
resting. He's sleeping.
Yeah.
He's resting.
Yeah.
He's
The
resting.
dog didn't die. He went to the farm.
To poop.
No, yeah. You're not in jail. He on vacation.
Right.
At the university.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, your words of wisdom, and obviously the hilariousness and the thought provoking comments that you all have shared with us. And we appreciate you, Stephen Hill. You haven't said a name. I tried to bring her into the conversation, and yet you just wouldn't.
Kwyn beat me down last week. I was not laughing. So,
Are you serious? No.
No, I'm just kidding. No. But I will say this. If you want to see the blackest country show ever, please go to Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, go to Amazon Prime Video to watch the Academy of Country Music Awards, which first aired this past Monday. But you can now find it on demand on Prime Video. There's black people all up in there. And this is how we country. I'm very proud of the work that.
Was that thanks to you?
No. It was a whole bunch of people. I got to shout out Amazon. Amazon there was our partner. They were very, very, very dedicated to making sure this was a diverse country show. So I in no way take all the credit. I ain't gonna lie. At some point in time, I was like, this may be too black of a country show. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, ooh, some people who really like country might be like, no, this is gonna be really black.
No,
But,
it really was.
Mickey Guyton, Blanco Brown, Kane Brown with a gorgeous, gorgeous song. Newcomer Brittany Spencer, Jimmy Allen performed and he hosted. And I ain't gonna lie, Dolly Parton felt like she got a little bit black in her.
Yeah, she does.
She does.
She got it.
So,
all right, we close.
Well, thank you everybody for all the birthday wishes before we get out of here, and yay Pisces to all the Pisces out there.
It's a Pisces season.
Pisces.
We'll close with Yogi's Jewels. Don't give up helping others. We all need help sometimes. Inhale generosity and exhale selfishness.
You get a car.
I'll take that. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Continue the celebration.